Who am I? Many times seekers come with this who am I, making questions about this kind of practice, positioning, whatever you want to call it. That sometimes this with over time it becomes mechanical. This is because this standpoint or practice has not been understood yet. You see, who am I? It's not about the question. It's not about remembering. When you ask the question, you remember that you are wholeness, that you are totality. It's not about this. It is about flow of attention. Flow of attention. For those of you who have been long communing with your inner selves and observing these, your inner world. For those of you who have been trying to make silence, meditating, for example, or abstracting, whatever, you will see that silence lasts a little bit, then thoughts arise, sensations arise, emotions arise. And the flow of attention that was lying still follows these things. And this is how illusion begins and maintains, with this, let's call it, for the sake of understanding, outward flow of attention. You see, what you call your life, this is just the grossest aspect of this inner thing, of this inner flow of attention towards these thoughts, emotions, sensations. When you say, who am I? When you ask the question, who am I? See where attention moves. This is the most important. And you will see that it moves opposite, in the opposite direction. It moves innerly to a point of silence, to the source. You see, when you force silence, attention stays at one place, and then it is disturbed and moves outwardly. When you ask the question, who am I? It moves into the opposite direction to a point of silence there, to the presence. This is the gold. This is what it is meant for, you see? So if this is just a mental question, so it finds emptiness, nothing is there. If this is seen for what it really is, it means it's going back to the source. And then it stays there. It stays there. As it is staying there, these thoughts, emotions, sensations will intensify. You see? And the fears that usually make you invest into these human activities will start arising. As you remain firm at the source, at this silence, at this presence, and you don't invest in these outwardly things, these fears, this sadness, these pains will arise intensely, and if you maintain, then they will disappear really. Not that they will disappear because they never really existed, but they will lose the power that you were giving to them. the power of importance. And this is how you gain more freedom from the story, you see, from this human story. And with this freedom, you gain more silence. This means the attention stays longer into this presence, into this silence. As it deviates from this, as it moves again outwardly, then the question can come again as a reminder, and attention will move automatically to that silence, and it will stay there, and stay there, and stay there, stay there. When there's no more pullings strong enough to take attention out of this silence, then dissolution begins. So this asking the question, who am I, in the middle of all your human interests, investments, and it's pointless and bound to become mechanical, because the essence of this has not been reached. This has been adapted to a way of life, to a way to continue to pursue the same investments. You see? So this is why I tell you that there's no use in pretending. No use in pretending. So first you have to understand that these human investments, they are of no use to you. And it is simple, by means of understanding these higher purposes, or by means of understanding life as it presents itself. And if you look at life and relationships and works and these things, and they are all for happiness. They are all for happiness. Not a happy moment. No, because if it was about happy moments, there wouldn't be any insatisfaction in you. Because life is full of misery, but it's full of happy moments also. So if it was about a happy moment, then you would be satisfied. It's not about happy moments. It's not. It is about bliss. It is about truth. It is about wholeness. And if life had this, if life endeavors had this, then you already had seen it. You would be contented. You would be full. But it doesn't. So, if you imagine, if you take this as it appears to be, oh, I want a relationship because I want to love and this and that, and don't see that you want a relationship because you believe that from the relationship you'll be happy, then it is difficult if you don't understand this. If you understand this, you will see that you're looking for happiness through circumstances, and not circumstances in itself, but the happiness you believe that come through them. This will take you to the next question. Do circumstances have happiness? And you will see the answer all around you. You will see people that seem happy in circumstances that bring you misery, and you will see people miserable in circumstances that brings you happiness. So, one is right and the other is wrong is of no use. But you can see that this is relative, not absolute. So surely this is. You see? And this is how all these investments start falling down by a correct outlook. And this by itself solves nothing, but it gives you more time and freedom and silence to be there in your divine presence, in the source, And as the story, the world, creation, starts losing its power over you, this dissolution of these structures that assert individuality begins. You see? So this who am I is coming back to the source. And you're coming back not to say hello and going away. You're coming back to stay there in communion. Stay there. And whatever is disturbing this has to be put aside. It is about the flow of attention. Or it is moving towards these thoughts, sensations, emotions, to these phenomena that appear in your space of silence, or it is staying in the source. In the beginning, it seems that it is in the middle, and it goes to one place or to the other. But then it will be seen that it is the source, or it moves away from it. And these are just words for where you stand now. If this is not there, it is bound to become mechanical. And forget about this. Attention in the present moment means in this silence, not in what is appeared to be happening in this present moment. This is confusion, this is illusion. Nothing changes to see, oh, there is an ant crawling here, walking and catching the stone. My attention is in the present moment. No, it isn't. It is far away from it. Far away from it. When your attention rests in this silence, in this stillness at the source, this is present moment. Endless present moment. Going with the flow, observing what seems to be happening now, makes no difference. Has nothing to do with what is supposed to be said of observing the present moment. This comes back to who am I? As a shortcut to silence, as a shortcut to letting go investments. But because, well, nothing exists, there's nothing to be done. So why are you in so many things? Because if this was really an understanding, it would be of absolutely no use. When you ask the question, who am I? Attention moves to that space of silence. You see? When you're practicing meditation, when you're abstracting of thoughts, this is where attention is going also, eventually. In the beginning, a fight comes, you see? Because all these thoughts, sensations, and emotions, they get all importance from you. So letting go of this, letting go all of these investments is ruining the greatest investment, which is for happiness. So you believe. And what is really compelling this is the sadness you have been carrying. So it has to get out. And by getting out, you will have to experience it, to live it, so that these strings of importance are broken. You'll become lighter and lighter and lighter, freer and freer. Not the free from freedom, but free from the dream. And you will have more time to stay in that communion, in your presence. The more you stay, the more the structures dissolve. And it is like this until absorption happens, or awakening, or whatever. So your actions have to stand firm with the understanding. There's nothing to be done, then do nothing. Who am I is about the flow of attention. And anything that takes this flow of attention from the source has to be put aside, put aside. And this is just in the game. When your game is over, when you know who you are, none of this makes no sense. Flow of attention. Not about an answer, because the answer to that question, it's not from the same nature of the question itself. You see? It's like asking, what is the flavor of that ice cream, for example? The answer to that question is from a different nature, because the answer from the same nature, like, oh, it tastes like strawberry or chocolate or whatever, it doesn't satisfy the question. Only the taste of it will satisfy that question. And the taste and the question, they are different. And so it is the answer to this, who am I? It is a taste. It is a dive. You see? Stay at the door. At the door, at the source. Stay there. Let go of everything else. It doesn't matter how much suffering may arise, how much difficulties may arise. Stay at the source. And when you're shown that nothing else is important to you, only truth, then that door will open. That door will open. As long as you are asking, what is the truth? Who am I? And still holding dear your investments, or using this as a means to your investments, there will be nothing but only these intellectual vanities that are left. And this may be nice and fun, but it doesn't satisfy your quest. It may seem to satisfy for a time when this is giving promises, but in the long run, you will come to see that a big hole has been growing up inside of you. A big hole of emptiness, of suffering for the lack of real communion. So who am I? Yes, it is a very beautiful practice, and is a shortcut to silence, direct access to presence, flow of attention, flow of attention, the world or the source, I or the rest. It is like this. Mechanical about it, nothing dead about it. It is quite intense, very intense. See? And as long as all these human investments are there, strong, this will be very weak. or unseen or completely twisted. This is the majority of seekers that are in this who am I thing. It is twisted. So there's no point even in correcting this because their motivations are out of place. Their attitude is out of place. So there's no one there to be corrected even. See? Direct access to stillness, to silence. This is this who am I? I. Attention moves to this body of silence. So yes, take up this who am I? Forget about everything else. Okay.